Hello and welcome to the One Called Mama podcast. I am your host, Samantha, and I am very excited to start season 8 with all of you. This is an extremely exciting week for me. I have the Behind Her Brand Women Who Build award conference, award ceremony to go to tomorrow. And then after that, I have the Behind Her Brand conference. It's a 2-day event. And then after that, I have a second conference that I signed up for that is local to where I live. And that one is also 2 days. There's actually an overlap. So Friday, I will be driving from the Behind Her Brand conference, and then I will be driving straight into the second conference that I am attending, the Esther Rising 414 conference. And that is something that I am in so much anticipation of what the Lord is going to do at that event. And when I saw that it was very near me, I was just very excited. So I knew I had to be there. Fortunately, my husband is very understanding of this week and everything that is happening. And I am very excited to see what the Lord does this week. Y'all, it has been quite a month since season 7, since last I spoke to y'all. There's been a lot going on in my life, a lot of changes, some small changes that maybe you did or didn't catch, some things the Lord is really showing me, and the way he's talking to me is quite remarkable. And I think I can't remember. I think when season 7 was wrapping, I was starting a second podcast called Coffee with a Catholic. And I kind of made that announcement as I was wrapping up season 7 and told y'all that was launching, and it's doing very well. That is a YouTube only show. And it's extremely satisfying doing this show. I am learning a lot. And, the things that we're talking about were things that we'd already discussed, but we decided we wanted to just talk and discuss these things for others' benefit. And it is quite the experience. And the Lord is showing both of us a lot. And I highly encourage you, if you haven't gone, to go listen to see what we're doing over there. We're actually making a switch to the format a little bit, which in the next couple of weeks you will see. If you're listening, if you're tuning in, if you're not, in a couple of weeks the format's going to shift. And maybe to you, if that's the first episode you catch, you won't know the difference. But to others who have been listening, it's going to feel a little different. And when we recorded this evening, I'm actually hopping off of that recording and recording today's episode. It got emotional for me because it just felt so right, the way that we are now approaching the show. And this is what I love when you walk in obedience to the Lord and things shift, because a lot of times you're stepping into something and you don't really know you don't really know if you're stepping into it the right way. You're just acting in faith, and that's okay. But then also being willing to change and flow as the Lord is asking you to. And so when we decided that this was how we were going to switch things up, it was a little unnerving at first, but we went with it, and it's right. It's so right. And I'm excited to see what happens through it and through what she shares. She's sharing some really powerful stuff. And so I do encourage you, as we start jumping into more of her story, Karen's story, that you go and take a listen. I think it will really bless you, as it has blessed me over the last several years as I've learned and grown in my friendship with her. So if you haven't guessed, I kind of just jumped into the topic for today and to what I wanted to just kind of discuss. And really this season is kind of different. It's a different approach to what I really want to have been doing. And I just want to share. I want to share what the Lord's been showing me. I want to talk about what has been relevant specifically to me in the last month, and just share those moments with you and talk about them and just be real with you. And it's not going to have any sort of an agenda. It's really just going to be me laying it out there for y'all. I've taken a big mental shift from feeling like I had to hide parts of who I was. And not and I'm a very transparent person, and so it might seem like I wasn't. And it's not that I was hiding anything in like a nefarious way, or that it was really even obvious, but there were aspects of my faith or about myself that I felt like I had to be very careful with because of how it might come across or who it might upset. And I've had a big shift, and I talked about this the last episode or the next last episode of last season, that I'm done with that. I'm done living that way. And so if I feel like I'm supposed to share something, I'm going to, and it doesn't really matter how it lands. It's going to land however it needs to with whoever hears it. And my hope, of course, is that even if it's challenging, it's still edifying. And we're just going to enter into all of it with prayer, and we're just going to see where the Lord takes it for this season. Now, I am going to go back to a more structured approach in the following season, and I have a woman that is going to come on and share her story, and I'm very excited about this. The Lord is all over it, and her story is incredible, and in that what the Lord has done through her. And so I am so excited to have her on, and for us to really jump into the topic and her life. I'm not ready to share any of that yet, but it is going to be good, and I'm very excited to see what fruit comes from it. She's just it's going to be good. That's all I'm going to say. So just some updates for y'all, and to just kind of just invite you into my space where I've been, what's been going on over the last month. I decided to make a branding shift, and this might seem more like housekeeping stuff, but I feel like it's still important, and I want to clue y'all into this. I decided that, I say that the Lord revealed to me. I make very few decisions in this that are uniquely just because I decided to make something. It's really the Lord is orchestrating it all, but He made it very plain to me that it's time to really broaden what I'm doing, and that I needed to do a little bit of rebranding. And it's very subtle, but if you notice that my website, it's not all focused and centralized around the podcast. It's about me, and it's about branding me and who I am, and really coming at it from that angle, because the podcast is just one aspect of who I am and what I'm doing, and what the Lord is doing through me. Case in point, the other podcast that I'm doing just solely on YouTube with my friend. That is not, that is just a piece of who I am. And one called Mama is just a piece of who I am. And there are other things at play. There are ambitions that I have, wanting to do more, public speaking, do more things like that, and really stepping out and speaking face to face with women, getting in front of them, meeting them where they are. I want that. I want to do that. And I've had a passion for that and I didn't really know I did, but I've always loved and admired people who did that. Those people that come into like a conference or a church event or a retreat or, what have you, and they share their story. They do their speech, and you're inspired, you're encouraged, you're motivated. And I always would look at them and think, man, I want to do that. I want that. And how do you get there? And it's what I want to work towards. And so that's become a big goal of mine. And that took some, that was something that the Lord showed me in January. And I thought, no, that's not really, I really thought that wasn't something I was really focused on. I was more into, writing classes and really kind of expanding on the first class I wrote, and I wanted to teach it more. And that, yes, it still exists. I still want to do things there, but that's not my focus right now. And so in January, He really, I was looking at my vision board, and I saw that I had written a couple of skills that I wanted to master. One of them was not being afraid of flying. And I thought that was kind of funny that I'd put that up there. And the other one was reading from a teleprompter, which was I just thought it was a good skill to have. And not that, reading from a teleprompter means that's what public speakers do, but I just felt like it was a good skill. And I started, thinking about it, and really it just kind of stuck with me. And then I got a gift in the mail. It was a luggage tag because of the conference I'm going to. She sent a luggage tag to everyone who is going to attend the conference. I may have shared this story. I don't remember in like last season or something, but the luggage tag has an airplane on the other side of it. And I had not put, I actually got the luggage tag before I made the vision board. And when I made the vision board and put that I wanted to not be afraid of flying, and then I remembered, and then I had the luggage tag, I was like, oh, well, maybe there's a theme here. Maybe there's a reason for this. And then the Lord really started working on me, and kind of just, I couldn't let it go. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I started praying about it. And then it led to me scheduling a coaching session with my mentor and Kimberly Spencer. I don't know why I was going to withhold that piece of information, but I'll tell you, Kimberly DeShield Spencer. I scheduled a coaching session, thinking that I was going to really be focusing on like public speaking and what does that look like, and how am I going to set myself up as a speaker, and marketing myself, and we're going to go into all of that. And in her wisdom, she was like, we really need to set you up to where people are going to be drawn to you and want to hire you or want to have you come speak. And I was like, yeah, that makes total sense. And so as we're, going through this meeting, and we're talking, and she's asking me all these questions, it was extremely enlightening, extremely insightful. And it really caused me to think about things I hadn't thought about before, and really ask myself questions that just were never on my mind, things that I wouldn't think to ask myself. And so I'm struggling whether or not I really want to share this with y'all because I wasn't planning on it, but I feel like I need to, because sometimes it's difficult to share things before they're finished. You don't always want to do that. You don't want the enemy to use that against you, or try and attack you. But I'm gonna share it, and if it comes out in editing, then y'all won't hear this part. She encouraged me that I need to start doing blog posts. And then she kept making like a comment about, you just need to write a book. And I was like, no, I'm not a writer. No, I'm not going to write a book. And she kind of laughed, and then we continued the meeting, and she said, you're going to write a book. And she was a little more assertive that time. And I looked at her, and I was like, I don't enjoy writing. That's very difficult for me. It's hard with the way my brain works. It's so much easier for me to talk. That's why the podcast makes sense. Even when I'm trying to message people in texting, I will voice message people before I really want to text them, unless it's something simple. But if it's any sort of complex topic, anything that requires a lot of explaining, I voice message. I hate writing. Not that I hate the act of writing. I hate that what's in my brain, getting it to come out in an understandable way, and it not being overwhelming. It's hard for me. Like, it overwhelms me very easily. And so I was like, no, I can't do that. But I was like, what? Why do you keep saying that? And she said, because you need to write. You need to write a book. You have a lot that you need to share, and you need to write a book. Because a lot of people who are looking for speakers, people to come to their event, some people want people that are unknown, not very popular, or not very, known. I'm okay with not being popular. But she said some people get fatigued from watching videos, or, listening to things. They want to read something. And that's why posts are important. And so she said, having a book would really help you and get you to where you want to go. And I was like, okay, well, explain to me that process. And so we talked about that, and I'll spare you all the details. But I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book. And there have been moments where that has hit me differently. It's hard to believe that I'm doing this. And yeah, that's all you get to know right now. That is at work behind the scenes. I am extremely excited about it. As always, my goal is that it serves whatever purpose he has. Far be it for me to understand what his purpose is behind all the things that he asks me to do. I would never pretend to believe or express to you that I understand them. There may have been times in my life where I thought I understood them or said that I did, and then I was sorely wrong. So I try to just operate in the best of my abilities to just be obedient to what he says to do. And this is the next step. And I had to tell myself because when I was starting, the book outline and I started writing, I had these moments of fear that settled in, and these thoughts would come in my head like nothing else has. This is not going to be successful. This is a big investment. You're going to waste money doing this. This is a waste of time. Just these things that may in my mind seem logical, but when you say them out loud, you can quickly identify that they're of the enemy. But I and they did scare me. They did get to me. But I've learned that when anything is rooted in fear, it's of the enemy. It's a lie, and it just spurred me on more to wanting to complete it. It actually gave me more of a desire to do it in a very timely manner. I'm not giving you my timeline, but it makes me want to get it done quickly. Of course, in the Lord's timing. And I'm not rushing myself. But I am not going to be fear-mongered either. I'm not going to give into that. That doesn't sit well with me. We will see what happens from this, but this is the next step for me. And part of something that I didn't really share and something that is really integral into what is happening in my world right now and what the Lord wants is that there in the beginning, when I started this podcast, I was gearing it just for moms. I wanted all women to hear it, people, because I felt like there were things that even from a mother's perspective to a mother, that women who don't have children, maybe biologically or at all, could benefit from. However, with this shift comes the realization that my audience and my platform needs to change. And so this podcast is no longer geared to just moms. It's no longer going to only invite in women to speak that are moms. I've had a couple that aren't moms to come in and share, but my focus has mainly been mothers to share and to interview them because they're living their calling and motherhood, and how are they balancing all that. And that is important. And I feel like that is still very relevant, but we're not just focusing on that anymore. We're not just focusing on having women on who are mothers, whether biologically or what have you. And I'm not wanting to come at things just from a mother's perspective either. I still want to hold space for moms because it is a wonderful, beautiful work that the Lord has for us, the ones that he's called to motherhood. And they need a space. They need to be heard. They need to be seen. They need to be validated. They need to know they're not alone. They need to know that what they're doing is kingdom work and it matters, because it is so easy to believe that it doesn't, especially when they're little. Because I don't know what it's like when they're grown, like when they're teenagers, and you can kind of start seeing the fruit as teenagers and preteen and stuff like that. But when they're little, it's really, really difficult to understand that what you're doing right now matters, because it seems so insignificant. It's playing, it's preschool, it's numbers and colors and letters and alphabet and things that it's just like, this isn't serving a purpose. I need to be doing something that matters. It matters. And so it's so easy to believe that lie. So it is, I still want to hold space for moms. I still want to do things that just focuses on them. Do I have that figured out? No. Do I know, do I really have a way of doing that, like either on my website or on this podcast? No, I don't know what that looks like right now. I'm not too worried about that because I feel like we're still going to touch on things that even as moms, um, we're all going to identify with. Really, the focus that I want to have is just women of faith. Women of faith. I want to share my faith, and I want to come at things from a perspective of how can we learn from this? How can we grow from this? What is the Lord trying to do in us? What is at work here? And growing in our faith. And if you're not of a woman of faith, stay. Please stay. Please know that I want to speak to you too. Just understand that it's always going to come through a lens of, it's going to be filtered through faith. It's going to be filtered through the Lord. But I want you to hear these things because I do want you to know the Lord. I want you to know Jesus, and to have a confidence in him that you've never had before. So I just want to speak. I want to speak to women of faith. I want to reach the lost. I'm just on fire. I'm on fire. My hair's on fire too. My hair's on fire. Um, but it's okay. It's good. It's so good. And I know that the Lord has a plan. I know that he's worked out the details, and then all I have to do is just take one moment at a time. And so this is me just sharing all of this, just laying it all out there with y'all. I know that some of you may be listening, like, I don't care about all this. I'm sorry. Maybe this episode isn't for you. You can move on. But I think when the Lord shifts us, it can be very unnerving. And I have definitely had moments over this last month where I'm like, what am I doing? Am I really sure that I'm doing the right thing here? But I know that I am. And I know that if I make a mistake, which of course I will, he'll correct me. But Mother Angelica, there's a quote from her that says, or Sister Angelica, who knows? I'll get it wrong, I'm sure. She says, faith is one foot in the air and a queasy feeling in your stomach. And I will tell you that is very true. Very true. Happened to me yesterday, as decisions were being made. It happened to me yesterday. So I just want to share all these things with you, lay this all out there for you. And two, this conference, this 414 conference, I am extremely, extremely excited about. This is, when I saw the speakers that were going to be there, and I read about Esther Rising and this movement and what this woman is building. It's all about women stepping into their calling, being on fire for the Lord, being, this conference is everything that, from what I'm reading about it, and I think this is the first one. It's a free event. It's local to where I am. I don't know where you're listening from, but to me, it's local. And so, Millicent Cedra, I don't know, she's someone I follow. She's a pastor. She's going to be speaking at it. And my mind was just blown. When I saw this, I thought, what is going on? How is this real? This must be a joke. But registration was free. And I knew that it was crazy that I was going to go from one conference directly into another one. I knew that it was just absolutely nuts, that I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be worn out. And I just don't care, because I know that I have to be there, and to be in a room filled with 500 other women who are just on fire for the Lord or want to be. Yes, sign me up for that every single time. Sign me up for that every single time. I will always want to say yes to that. I knew I had to be there, and actually, I'm going to be volunteering as well, and so I'm going to be on the usher team, and maybe even the altar team. I think I told them I would float to either if they needed me to do either one in a moment, whatever they needed. But I'm nervous. I'm actually nervous about volunteering for something like this. I've never done that before, and but I am very excited and just anticipating seeing the Lord show up in very big ways. And I know that He will He will have something for every woman there, including me. And I encourage you, if you're listening to this and you don't have plans for this weekend, I encourage you to go. I encourage you to sign up. They're still saying that registration is open. They're not closing it. And if you can, do it. Just go. The Lord has something, I'm sure, that he wants to share with you. So all of that to say, I feel like over the next several days, I'm going to have a lot downloaded into me. I'm going to have a lot of takeaways from both conferences, from the people I meet, from the things that the Lord shows me. And I know there's things I'm going to be able to share, that there's things that he's going to speak to me about. And I want to share those with you. One last thing that I want to say is don't be afraid. There's a lot happening right now in this world, a lot of evil. There's still a lot of good. And the Lord still has a plan. And I don't know what things are going to look like. I don't have those answers. But he doesn't want us to be afraid of anything, of anything. He wants us to have boldness. He wants us to walk in faith, in step with him. You ask him to show you his truth. What is his truth? What does he want you to know? Ask him to give you eyes that see and ears that hear, to align your heart with his, to seek his truth, and watch what happens. And we're just going to do this together. And we're going to talk about what the Lord shares with us. And I would love to hear what he shares with you. If you want to share, if you want to talk about that, please comment. Please share that with me. You can email me at onecalledmama@gmail.com. If you want, you can share those things because we all need community. We all need to know what the Lord is doing. And I think it's important because he's still doing the miraculous. He's still doing the miraculous. And as we talk and as I share some of the things that he's shown me and he's done, it may not be like a big miracle, but to me it is. And we'll just see what he shows us along this journey. The last thing I do want to say is that seasons are going to look a little different. They're not going to be like 10 episodes long like they were before. They're going to be shorter, but our breaks are going to also be shorter. A month is like the longest that our break is going to be going forward. And they're going to be just a lot quicker. So I did want to point that out and share that with y'all. That was one other thing that I forgot that I wanted to say. I hope y'all have an incredible week. I am excited to see what the Lord does. And I will see you next week. Talk soon.